What's going on, folks? Ted from Immersion here, and I have a hypothetical question for all of you. Where do you stand on the apparent debate about dinosaurs in Dungeons and Dragons? I'll tell you my opinion and why I think other people seem to be so vehemently against having dinosaurs in Dungeons and Dragons. But before I talk about that, let's talk about the sponsor for today's video, Dungeon Craft. The Series 3 has released. As you can see, it's absolutely destroyed its funding goal of $10,000. This is put on by 1985 Games, and if we scroll down, you can see it is a variety of flat pack kind of terrain and set pieces that you can use on top of their battle maps, your battle maps, or make your own dungeons with them by themselves. They've also released a free adventure called Den of the Serpent King, which you can download for free. And yeah, you can see there's a variety of different options here. If you're running Tomb of Annihilation, this could be a huge boon for you, as there's a lot of synergy there. But Jungles of Dread and Fallen Kingdom are basically a lot of stuff dealing with undead and dinosaurs, and that's how 1985 Games pitched it to me when they reached out, and I said I was on board. You can see there's these double-sided maps here. They also do miniatures, and two of those miniatures are a crocodile and a crab, so that's right up my wheelhouse. And you can see here's the dungeon that you can build. They have set cards, and then NPC art, a DM screen, which is pretty sweet looking, and a Crocodile Jasper D20. As someone who was going to be a paleontologist and ended up getting a degree in geology instead, all of this together is just right in my wheelhouse. They also have these cool journals, which are Kickstarter exclusive, and a variety of different funding goals for depending on what you want to get. And I guess for $185, you can pretty much get everything new with this Kickstarter, and then add on other old Kickstarters if you'd like. It's pretty awesome. I'm a big fan of this because you can carry so much terrain. This is 4 different sets of terrains. This is dungeons, castles, and both of the new ones that we talked about there, Fallen Kingdom and Jungles of Dread. And they are just awesome, high quality. I think they're even dry erase that you can use. And check out back over the weekend where I'm going to do a product review of these. We can take a look at the product in general and then also the new ones. So thank you, Dungeon Craft and 1985 Games, for sponsoring this video. So back to the topic at hand, dinosaurs in Dungeons and Dragons. As I stated in that little sponsored bit, yeah, I love dinosaurs. I wanted to be a paleontologist from the age of 2 years old until I reached college and realized that, one, I hated my paleontology professor with a passion. That was a large part of it. And it was kind of hard to break into that field and do anything and make any kind of money. It's just not a field that is accepting new positions, really. Even though we continue to find new dinosaur species seemingly yearly, the field is not very lucrative. And, I wanted to move on, so I got a degree in geology, and the rest is history. But I love dinosaurs, and I absolutely have integrated them as a major part of my homebrew world and into all Dungeons and Dragons games. Dinosaurs are typically either a beast or an animal, so they have a lot of synergy with spells that let you summon animals, whether that be conjure animals in this edition or summon nature as ally in older editions. They're great for wild shaping as a druid. In older editions, you could get different animal companions as dinosaurs. As your animal companions leveled up, you could get different dinosaurs. So it had a lot of use, a lot of different things for it. But yeah, I've seen this outcry of people saying, like, one of the things that they hate or doesn't belong in Dungeons and Dragons is dinosaurs. And that I don't understand. I know that you can possibly maybe do game-breaking things if you turn people into dinosaurs. I will continue to remind people that if you're transformed into a dinosaur via polymorph, for example, you still have the intelligence of that dinosaur, so you're not probably going to be doing any high-level, high-thinking maneuvers. And we've seen dinosaurs in the Monster Manual. We've seen dinosaurs added in things like Tomb of Annihilation, I think in Volo's Guide as well. And a multitude of third-party and DM's Guild resources have released other stats for other dinosaurs. And dinosaurs are really fun. We see a lot that are paleontologically accurate. We see some that are sort of culturally accurate. For example, most of the time when people release a stat block for a Dilophosaurus, it's usually the Jurassic Park version that spits venom, which there's no indication in the fossil record that that's something they could do or ever did do. But that's just Michael Crichton's work, just like Carnotauruses that could turn invisible and things like that. Which people put those stat blocks out there, and in a fantasy game like Dungeons & Dragons, I think it makes sense. So, in a world where we have magic, and in a world where we have dinosaurs, or we have dragons, it's in the name of the game, why can't we have dinosaurs too? Now, I guess you could, I would entertain more discussion around ecology. Where do dinosaurs fit in the food chain if dragons exist? Well, I mean, where does an elephant fit, or a woolly mammoth and things like that? They exist. You have woolly mammoths in Icewind Dale and other northerly regions of most people's campaigns. Those exist. Why couldn't you, if you have woolly mammoths, why can't you have, I mean, you typically have saber-toothed tigers too, right? So why not a T-Rex, a Stegosaurus, or a Triceratops, a group of velociraptors, Compsognathus, whatever you have, plesiosaurs in the ocean, right? Whatever works. I don't know. So, I think, one, like I said, there are great uses for those couple of classes that can get access to it, or the polymorph spell. I think a lot of people struggle with the integration, and I think maybe it comes from a real world bias. So for us, dinosaurs are all extinct, right? We've seen the fossils, we can go see them in different locations, and we've seen a variety of different movies, documentaries, and things about dinosaurs, but they don't exist in our world as they did in the Cretaceous period or before. So that I can understand. For you to put a dinosaur in your game, maybe it breaks your own immersion, because you're like, oh, well, dinosaurs, they shouldn't be around because they're extinct. But in your campaign world, your characters might not feel that way, because dinosaurs might have never gone extinct and they're just a regular part of the world in your game, whatever game it might be. We know Eberron, for example, there's a big focus on dinosaurs in Eberron. Right? There's clawfoot raptors that are ridden around on by Talenta halflings. That's a whole thing. So in my homebrew world, I've integrated dinosaurs completely. I have a whole region, and specifically a whole city, where there are no traditional beasts of burden, right? There are no cows, there are no horses. They have all of their kind of pack animals, beasts of burden, and things are dinosaurs, right? Fields are plowed by plows attached to Triceratops or to Stegosaurus. They don't eat like steak, like cow steak or bacon or anything like that. They have dinosaur steaks, and they are present in the area around. There are dinosaur wranglers and people who train them to train like you would horses or things like that. And because I have this love for dinosaurs, that's a thing that I've incorporated into my game, and they're a fundamental part of my world, right? I know where they are. I know how integrated they are. You'd be just as easy to see, antelope or deer running through a field being chased by velociraptors as you would by a cheetah or a lion or something like that. So that's how I've fully integrated things into my world, because I wanted to resolve that. I know there's always been the issue in the past, and sometimes even in current games, where people I can transform myself into a beast of challenge rating equal to my level, while I go and look at the list of beasts, and the best one on the list, say, maybe is a T-Rex. Well, do T-Rex exist in my world? Have I seen a T-Rex? If I'm a druid, have I seen these creatures to be able to wild shape into them? Do I only need to just know of their existence with the polymorph spell and that'll work? All of these things come up, and I feel like that's sort of the issue that takes people out of it is, well, where are their dinosaurs? We obviously know in Tomb of Annihilation and in Chult, dinosaurs are very present. Dinosaur racing is a thing you do in Port Nyanzaru. And I don't know if that's the way you handle dinosaurs to make it not so much of an issue, in that there are locations specifically where this is where dinosaurs exist, right? Or is it, like I said, is it the food chain thing where these are top predators, or they would be top predators over things like mammals, and that's why they don't have a place in the game, because they would screw up the food chain? Well, again, you define the food chain in your D&D game. You can make it whatever you want. Would a T-Rex get into a squabble with a dragon? Possibly, but the dragon's intelligent, can fly, and has breath weapons. So the dragon's going to win, obviously, unless it's a baby dragon. Perhaps the T-Rex gets the jump on it. I don't know. But also, dinosaurs are animals. They're not high-thinking creatures looking to hoard gold or things like that. They're animalistic, following those base instincts. Unless you want to make Jurassic Park velociraptors in your game that can open doors and are super high thinking. You could do that, right? Whatever you want to do in your game. But I really can't, like, we have aberrations, we have, beholders and mind flayers, flumps, we have bugbears, we have owl bears, and dinosaurs are your sticking point? I don't get it. I don't know. It just, I genuinely want to know. So if you are one of the people out there who hates dinosaurs in Dungeons and Dragons, doesn't like the concept of dinosaurs in Dungeons and Dragons, tell me in the comments. I want to know. I'm genuinely curious. But also, I'd like to know if you are a fan of Dungeons and Dragons with dinosaurs included in it, how do you go about doing that? Do you have any good stories about incorporating dinosaurs? Is it just like that one time for the shock factor, a T-Rex comes through the forest and the party has to fight it because it's cool and you were looking for something high level? Or do you have more, is there more forethought there and you're integrating them completely into your world? Obviously, if you're playing in a pre-written campaign or a pre-written universe, you have to you're typically bound in that, you can be bound in the restraints of that world. Obviously, you can break it and change it as you wish. But I'm very, very curious because, like I said, I love dinosaurs wholly. I think they're amazing. I think they're super fascinating. Again, I at one point wanted to dedicate my life's work to dinosaurs. And, I still have dreams about maybe doing that when I retire or something like that. But so I'm all for it, and I would love to entertain the thought as to why folks aren't, or at least have a fun conversation in the comments with folks who are like-minded. So anyway, folks, once again, I'm Ted. This is Nerd Immersion. If you like what I do here, whether it be news coverage, top 10s, product reviews, hypothetical quandary stuff, fixing 5th edition, DM's Guild roundup reviews, any of that kind of stuff. If you like that, that's the kind of stuff I do here. I also try to, if possible, put out a video every single day. So 7 videos a week, if not more than that. Sometimes up to 6 videos in a day if there's a lot of news. So I put out a lot of content. If you like D&D, you can see my face around and you'll be not devoid of new content consistently. So if you like that kind of stuff, I would suggest subscribing, turning your notification bell on, and joining the Nerd Immersion fan base, whether that be just on YouTube, over on our Discord. You can find me on TikTok. Some folks have been asking. There's a P.O. box down in the description if you feel like sending stuff. We also have a Patreon as well. Tons of stuff. I just hope you enjoy this stuff, and I really want to look forward to what opinions you have. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.